Hello students, welcome to Spectra Educational Academy. In this video, I am going to explain short answer questions in system of particles and rotational motion. Let us begin with the first question. Distinguish between center of mass and center of gravity. Draw a table. On left side, you take a center of mass. Right side, you take a center of gravity. Okay, so first point under center of mass. It is a point at which the whole mass of the body supposed to be concentrated. Okay, I'll give you one example. Your friends, sometimes you find that they rotate textbook and notebook, or textbook or notebook, keeping their index finger under the notebook. So at a particular point, they place their index finger under the notebook, then only they can able to rotate the notebook. The reason is maybe the index finger, the tip of the index finger placed exactly at the center of mass, so therefore they are able to rotate comfort. The first point under center of gravity. It is a point at which the whole weight of the body supposed to be, whole weight of the body acts. So this is about center of gravity. Then second point under center of mass. It describes the motion of the body. Whereas second point under center of gravity is it describes the stability of the body. So there will be a point of center of gravity. If point of center of gravity is close to the earth, so then the body will have more stability. Then third point under center of mass. It is related to the distribution of mass of the body. Whereas this is related to weight of all particles. It is related to weight of all particles of the body. Next, moving to fourth point under center of mass. It is independent of g, so acceleration due to gravity, but it depends on g, acceleration due to gravity. Fifth point, it may or may not lies inside the body. So there is no compulsion center of mass to be inside the body. The best example is bangle or ring is the best example. Sixth, it lies inside the body. It is always lie inside the body. Next, for the case of, so this is the fifth point under center of gravity. Sixth, this is the last point. In case of small bodies, center of mass and center of gravity coincide, whereas in case of large bodies, particularly very large bodies, in case of large bodies, center of mass and center of gravity do not coincide. Do not coincide. So this is enough. Any 4 points, any valid 4 points, enough to write. Moving to the next question. That is, define angular velocity. Define angular velocity omega, derive v is equal to r omega. So first let us define angular velocity. The rate of change of angular displacement omega is equal to d theta by dt. See, it is simple way to understand. Look at the formula and remember the definition. Rate of change of, rate means time, rate of change of angular displacement. In the motion in a straight line, you have learned that velocity. Now let us call it as linear velocity. In what way you have learned the definition is rate of change of displacement. So ds by dt. In that chapter, rate of change of displacement. Here, rate of change of angular displacement. Next, it is measured in radian per second. So the unit of angular displacement is radian and unit of time is second. Next, let us proceed how to get the equation v equal to r omega. You take a particle which is moving in the circular path. So particle moving in the circular path in horizontal plane. Say here is a particle. This is the center. So when particle comes, just imagine wall clock, how the seconds hand of watch or minutes hand or hours hand moves. Say when particle comes here, while moving in the circular path, radius remains constant. You can take even circular motion in the vertical plane also, no problem. You can take circular motion in the vertical plane also. So radius remains constant. When particle moves from A to B, so this is radius, A to B. So just you need to consider a particle. So consider a particle. The particle is P. Is displaced ds. You can even here also you can describe it is ds. It is displaced. ds in a time interval. The simple way, if it is seconds hand of watch, for if in 5 seconds it will come to, suppose let us say this is 12 o'clock, this is 1 o'clock. It comes to position 1 o'clock. So in a time interval, let us say now dt. So let us don't use the numbers here. So ds is the displacement in a time interval dt. Moving on, it is on the circumference, of the circle, circumference of the circle of radius r through an angle, say d theta. So you can give d theta here, even you can also, so both the ways you can understand. So this is going to be d theta, or else you can take this is d theta. Fine, proceed. So here angle is d theta, describing at the center of the circle. Yeah. So d theta is equal to arc by radius. What is arc here? So arc is ds, radius is r. So therefore you can say ds is equal to r into d theta. Next, since ds is the function of time, ds is getting changed with respect to time. Also d theta is also a function of time. This is also changing with respect to time. Suppose if you take 10 seconds of gap, it will be at the number 2. So it describes more angle. So both ds as well as d theta are the functions of time. Now differentiating with respect to time. So ds by d theta, ds by dt is equal to r into d theta by dt. So therefore, just now I have written the formula. This is velocity, in particular linear velocity. R is constant when particle moves in the circular path. D theta by dt, just now you have the definition of angular velocity. So hence V equal to R omega is proved. Moving to the next question. Define vector product. Give an example. Define vector product. Give an example. Write two properties of vector product. First, let us try to define vector product. First, you write the formula. P cross Q, both are vectors, is equal to, based on the formula, you frame the sentence. PQ sine theta with n cap. What is n cap means? It indicates the direction of resultant vector. Now definition. Vector product, the vector product between two vectors. What are the two vectors? P and Q. Vector product of two vectors is a vector. Say R may be the vector, is a resultant. Vector product of two vectors is a vector whose magnitude of which one? R. So whose magnitude is equal to the product of magnitude means P and Q. Product of magnitude of two vectors and sine of the angle between them. Sine of the angle between them. So look at the formula and you understand the definition. Sine of the angle between them. Okay. So there is in addition, there is another point, the direction of resultant. The direction of resultant is perpendicular. Is perpendicular to both the vectors. Yeah, proceed. Now you consider, you take a table, but don't draw the table in the exam, just you take a table here. Imagine this is the top of table. So how to imagine two vectors? How to imagine resultant is the important point here. So this is the table. So okay, you can say, but don't draw the table. Just only for the sake of understanding, I am explaining. So these are the legs. Now you take a resultant like this. So resultant is just like a perpendicular to top of the table, like the way we lighten the candles. So this is perpendicular. Now, so there is a particle here. There is a particle here. Now let me call this is the radius, or otherwise you take the first vector P here. You apply force like this on this particle. Particle, where is the particle? Here is the particle. This is the particle. Here is the particle. This is a particle. Yeah, so this is, you take it as Q vector, this is just like force. When force applied in the form of vector Q, what happens? Particle starts moving like this around the axis of rotation. If force applied in the anti-clockwise direction, but this is the direction of force. This is the direction of force. Try to understand. Now here you are constructing a right angle triangle. Let us say this is going to be 90. So here R is P R, instead of P you can take R. R is perpendicular to, radius is perpendicular to force. So as and when particle comes here, so this is the line joining of the particle and the action of force. So therefore you take theta here. Now P into Q, you are writing P into Q is equal to, this is cross product, PQ sine theta with n cap. Now, so here, whenever you take sine theta, because this is 90, which opposite to 90, this is going to be hypotenuse. If I take sine theta here, so what should I write? Sine theta is equal to opposite. So opposite is R. Otherwise, you can take R by R dash, you call it as. R dash is equal to R sine theta. So what is R dash here is, this is now is a component. R dash is a component of R. Yeah. So now how to write resultant is R sine theta with the force. This is one way to understand. Otherwise, you can write instead of R sine theta, you write down P sine theta. Instead of F, you write down Q. So therefore, altogether what you can write is PQ sine theta. So R bar is equal to PQ sine theta and n cap, because cross product of two vectors, resultant is a vector quantity. Otherwise, you can also write it as P cross Q. So this n indicates the direction of resultant. So in the way of understanding torque, you can understand the definition of cross product. Next, let us proceed. So there are properties. First property, it do not obey. It do not obey commutative law. So it means you cannot write P cross Q is equal to, P cross Q is not equal to Q cross P. Second property, it obeys distributive law. It obeys distributive law. So it means P cross Q plus R is equal to, you can write P cross Q, also P cross R. Next, if two vectors are perpendicular, so therefore third one is if P and Q, two vectors are P and Q are perpendicular. So then P cross Q you will get. P cross Q is equal to, you will get just sin 90 because perpendicular means theta 90. So sin 90 will exist. So therefore it is P and Q. If they are parallel, if P and Q are parallel, so therefore theta will be 0, sin does not exist. So mod P cross Q is equal to 0. And finally, in terms of unit vector, I cross I, comma, J cross J is equal to K cross K, I, J, K. So you can understand like this. So just you take a room like this. Two unit vectors parallel. Two unit vectors are parallel. If they are parallel, theta will be 0. It does not exist. So let us say this is y-axis, y and y parallel, x and x parallel, I, j, j. So where is k? So this is k, this is k. These are parallel. So if they are parallel and unit vectors, the answer will be 0 because theta is 0. Next, whereas I cross j is equal to k if it is rotation is anti-clockwise. It means if I and j are serving as along x and y axis, and resultant will be along z axis. Next, j cross I, so it will be minus k if it is in clockwise direction. J moving towards I in clockwise direction, it will be minus k. If j moving towards I in anti-clockwise direction, it will be plus k. Similarly, j cross k, j moving towards k in anti-clockwise direction, it will be I. So I serves as a resultant. Next, if j moving towards k in clockwise direction, it will be minus I. And last, I cross k, if I moving towards k in anti-clockwise direction, you will get the answer j. So j will be the resultant. This is in anti-clockwise direction. Similarly, if I moving towards k in clockwise direction, so the answer is minus j. So it is important for showing the direction, upwards, downwards. Yeah. Now moving to the next question. State law of conservation of angular momentum and give examples. Sorry, I forgot to give the examples for the previous questions. The first example is torque is equal to, torque is vector quantity r cross f. Second one is angular momentum r cross p. Now, next question, fourth. State law of conservation of angular momentum and give an example. Okay. State law of conservation of angular momentum and give an example. The total angular momentum. Total angular momentum of a rotating body, rotating body remains constant when there is no external torque acting on it. So this particular body also rigid body. So when torque is 0, so angular momentum remains constant. Now, first let us write the basic formula. Torque is equal to R cross F. So if R and F are perpendicular, theta 90, you will get R into F only. Okay, so let me write now R into, so let me, according to Newton's second law, let me write that this is dP by dt is equal to torque. Now R d by dt, let me write P as momentum, it is equals to mv. Now just now we had the equation v equal to r omega. So therefore radius, mass and d by dt of v is equal to r omega. So therefore finally this you will get it as mr square d omega by dt. What is d omega by dt means? It is going to be rate of change of angular moment, rate of change of angular velocity. So torque is equal to now mr square with the alpha. What is alpha is? It is angular acceleration. So it is d omega by dt. So the way we say rate of change of linear velocity is linear acceleration. Similarly, there is angular acceleration is rate of change of angular velocity. Fine. So mr square, it is the new physical quantity is coming here. So I is equal to mr square. What is I means? It is moment of inertia. So what is moment of inertia means? Product of mass of the rigid body and square of the distance from the axis of rotation. It is moment of inertia. Now this is torque. Now let me also use, just now we had angular momentum. This is one of the example for law of conservation of angular momentum. Just now you had it r cross p. Fine. So if these two are perpendicular, once again you will get p only. For p you can replace with v. Then suppose if this is differentiated with respect to time, dl by dt is equal to r m. Now let me first write v as r, and since you are taking d by dt both sides, you write down d by dt of omega. So this is going to be, once again you will get mr square omega. Now, so once again mr square omega is, sorry, d omega by dt is alpha. D omega by dt is alpha. So therefore you are getting I alpha. You call this equation 2. And you have equation 1 like this. Just you compare 1 and 2. Compare 1 and 2, you will get the torque is equal to dl by dt. Now use the statement that total angular momentum of a rotating body remains constant when there is no external torque. So you make it 0, this one. As per the statement, you make external torque as 0. It will be dl by dt. Now, so dl is equal to 0. If you go with integration, 0 integration is constant. So therefore, L is constant. So angular momentum is constant. Next. Then let us proceed. What are the examples? First example is angular velocity of a planet revolving. Angular velocity of a planet revolving in elliptical orbit. In elliptical orbit, around the sun increases. Around the increases when it comes closer. When it comes closer to the sun, and vice versa. So, but the angular momentum remains constant. This is the first example. Second example, if a diver jumping from a springboard, exhibits somersaults in air before touching. Before touching the water surface, because while in the middle diver makes his parts to come closer, so therefore in the middle angular velocity will be more, moment of inertia will be less. So therefore, but angular momentum remains constant touching the water surface. So L is constant. In mathematically, L can also be written as I omega. In the middle, I will be less because parts are closer. Speed will be more. Whereas at the time of touching water surface, parts will go away. Moment of inertia increases, speed decreases. But just like it is just like a table, 2 into 3 is equal to 6. 3 into 2 is also equal to 6. So 6 remains constant. So maybe moment of inertia decreased or increased is the criteria. Now, last question. Question number 5. Define angular momentum and the torque. Explain the relation between them. So first, let us define angular momentum. It is the product of angular momentum. Just look at the formula. L is equal to R cross P. Keeping this in mind, you frame the definition. So it is the product of magnitude of linear momentum and perpendicular distance from the axis. So this is one way. Otherwise, simply you can say that moment of linear momentum is angular momentum. So this is the definition of angular momentum. Now the definition of torque. So it is the product of force. And perpendicular distance of line of action of force. Line of action of force from the axis of rotation. Okay. So in simply way, the rate of change of angular momentum also you can write. Just now we had that torque is equal to dl by dt. Rate of change of angular momentum. Now, from the definition, torque is equal to R cross F. So you can write this as R into MA. So F is equal to, you can write, okay, you can use even Newton's second law also, dP by dt. R d by dt. So this is going to be mv first. Even you can change R into d by dt. With m into, you can write R omega. So finally, torque is equal to mr square and d omega by dt is alpha. So therefore you will get I alpha. Now, so this is going to be the relation. So torque is equal to I alpha is the relation between torque and angular acceleration. Next one is, there is a relation how to find out torque and angular momentum. So just you continue this. L is equal to R cross P if differentiated with respect to the time. So what will you get here? dl by dt is equal to R into P is, you write it as dp by dt first. Now P you change it as d by dt with mv. So it's a regular practice. So finally you will get dl by dt is equal to R m. This is d by dt of R omega. So you'll finally get it as mr square d omega by dt. It is alpha. So therefore dl by dt is equal to I moment of inertia, mr square is moment of inertia, d omega by dt is alpha. This is also torque. The final answer is relation between torque and angular momentum is dl by dt. This is the desired equation. Thank you very much, students, for watching my video. But don't forget to share and subscribe with your friends. Thank you very much. In my next video, I'll continue with the short answer questions in gravitation. Thank you very much.